Good morning, friends. Today you are once again welcomed in this video online teaching program, and we were discussing the poem "Not Marble Nor the Gilded Monuments." It is one of the most famous poem of Shakespeare, and as I told you that, look at the title, "Not Marble Nor the Gilded Monuments." Gilded means the monuments which are made of gold. Gilded means gold. Monuments, as I told you earlier, the historical buildings are come in the category of monuments. So in the first part of the sonnet, because the sonnet is a poem of 14 lines, and it is a Shakespearean pattern that in the first 8 lines, in the beginning first 8 lines, he presents a theme, and in the last 6 lines, he concludes, he draws a conclusion, what he wants to say in the poem. So the poem is divided into two parts. The first part is called the octave, Octave. This is a technical term. When we would discuss a sonnet as a literary term, I would define you, I would dictate you all the things separately. But here you should keep in mind that a sonnet is a poem of 14 lines which has two parts. The first part is called the octave, Octave, and what he did, what the poet does in octave, that he puts a thesis, he puts a subject, he puts a problem in front of us, and in the last 6 lines, which is called the sestet, 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 he concludes the poem, and he also gives a message, a lesson to us, that what he intends, what he wants to say in that sonnet. So, in this sonnet, the poets, in the first part, he puts this thesis, this subject, that literature is eternal, it is immortal, and the famous, the remarkable monuments which are made of either gold or any other valuable materials, after a gap of some time, they lose the shine, and they are neglected, and it is the nature of time, because it favors to no one, it keeps on its fixed course. So after some times, it is forgotten, it is neglected, but the poems, the writing, the literature which is written is immortal, is eternal, and the person, particularly the person which he has discussed in these poems, also become eternal. Now, in the second part of the sonnet, the poet affirms, reassures this fact that his friend would never be forgotten, that his friend would not be forgotten in any age, neither the death and nor the planning of enemies would do any harm to him. His friend would not, his charm, his beauty of his friend would not be affected by death, and even by the planning of enemies, by the scheming of the enemies. He would be remembered by the following generation, the coming generation. The word Shakespeare has used in the poem is posterity. Posterity, Posterity, posterity. Posterity means the following generation, the generation which follows another generation. This happened due to the poetry which he has written in praise of him. Why his friend would not be forgotten? Because in his poems he has appreciated the beauty of his friends. That's why that his friend is also become immortal. His poetry is eternal, and the person who is appreciated in poems also become immortal. In this way, his friend has become immortal till the day of judgment. Look at the life of the poetry. Shakespeare is so much sure that his poetry, his poems would be enjoyed till the day of judgment. Till day of judgment means the doomsday. Now, what the doomsday means? कयामत का दिन, प्रलय का दिन. जब तक प्रलय नहीं आता, his poems would be enjoyed, would be read all over the world, and his friends would also be remembered. The people would also ask questions that who was his friend upon which he has written so beautiful poems, and he describes his friend in his poems. So, day of judgment means the last day of the world. The doomsday, there are many words to describe that. Like all happy spirits, he would be remembered arise on the day of judgment. Not only that, when the happy spirits, all other persons would be resurrected on the day of judgment. उनको दोबारा जीवित किया जाएगा, उनको जिंदा किया जाएगा, and they would stand before God to give their judgment, to give their what you can say, that their account of their life. They would present their account of life, that what they have done on the earth, the life which the God has given, how they have utilized this life. So they would be resurrected, they would arise from their graves on the day of judgment. Until that day, he would be liked and appreciated by all the lovers of the world. Until then, when the last day comes, the day of judgment comes, until then, his friend would be appreciated by all the lovers of the world. He has become an ideal of all the loving people. In this way, they become the example for others. His friends has become an example for others. So this is the things he want to say, that. So we can say that the poem is dedicated to true lovers. At the same time, it emphasizes the eternal nature of the poetry, or in broader sense we can say literature. Similarly, it makes it clear that poetry, the writing, the literature, is more powerful and everlasting than the kings and the wealthy people think that they would make a great monument in memory of someone or their beloved. But after some time, we have seen that they are neglected, they lose their shine. And the monuments built by the kings, they lose their shine. Monuments are on only the show of wealth and pomp. It is an indication, it shows that how much wealth you have and you have used, that to show off your wealth, you have made a big monument. But after some times, it loses its shine and the process of decay starts. But in comparison to it, poetry is eternal. Poetry means the literature in any form of literature, it is poetry, prose, fiction, that is eternal. And the person who is appreciated in it also become immortal. So when the poetry is immortal, when the poetry is everlasting, it survives. Poetry survives in every condition. So similarly, the person who is discussed, who is appreciated, who is described in these poems, would also become eternal, would also become immortal. I hope that there would not be a better tribute to anyone than this poem, which Shakespeare has written in praise of his friend, that the monuments, the beautiful monuments built by kings, which are either of gold or any valuable material, would not be so everlasting, would not be so powerful as his poems are, because and you can see that this is a living example that Shakespeare wrote these poems in England, and we are reading it here, enjoying it here in India and in the remote villages of Rajasthan. Everywhere wherever this poem is prescribed in the course, it is read, it is enjoyed, it is discussed. People discuss it, and new meanings are added in it. So I hope that it gives us a great lesson that we should pay attention to art and literature. We should inculcate the feelings of appreciation in youth, in young people, that they should respect and pay attention to the great work of art. I hope that you will do it. Thank you.